Hi, we're back with more of The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum, and we are ready for Chapter 7, The Journey to the Great Oz. Our first word is obliged. They were obliged to camp out that night under a large tree in the forest, for there were no houses near. And obliged means forced to. And so sometimes we're obliged or forced to go to the dentist every 6 months. So I put a picture of a boy who was going to the dentist. Our next word, sorry about that. Our next word is dew. The tree made a good, thick covering to protect them from the dew. And dew is moisture on plants in the morning. And this is a picture of a leaf that has um, dew on it. And it actually is capturing the reflection of the flower, which I thought was really pretty. Our next word is splendid. And the Tin Woodman chopped a great pile of wood with his axe, and Dorothy built a splendid fire that warmed her and made her feel less lonely. And splendid means wonderful, and I saw this picture and I thought, that looks pretty wonderful. So that would be splendid. Next is rippling. When it was daylight, the girl bathed her face in a little rippling brook, and soon after they all started toward the Emerald City. And rippling means having rocks that interrupt the flow of water. So here you see that it's kind of the water is going over all of the rocks. Um, so this would be rippling over the rocks. Next we have ditch. They had hardly been walking an hour when they saw before them a great ditch that crossed the road and divided the forest as far as they could see on either side. And this definition means more like a canyon. So this is a small ditch that you could probably go down, but the ditch that they had was they couldn't climb down it and they couldn't go around it because they couldn't see an end to it. So their ditch was much deeper, but it's a break in the ground. Next is gulf. I will, declared the Scarecrow, for if you found that you could not jump over the gulf, Dorothy would be killed or the Tin Woodman badly dented on the rocks below. And the gulf here is the space between two sides. So they're on one side of that ditch, and they want to get to the other side, and the space between is the gulf. And this is the Gulf of Mexico. So that's why I put a picture of it. Next is crouched. The Scarecrow sat upon the lion's back, and the big beast walked to the edge of the gulf and crouched down. And crouch means bent at the knees, and this little boy is bent down looking at something on the ground. Next is panted. For his great leaps had made his breath short, and he panted like a big dog that had been running too long. So panted means breathe quickly. So this is a picture of a dog that his tongue's hanging out, and you can just imagine him panting. And this is a picture of Zane running in the backyard, and I can tell you that after he ran around, he was definitely panting a lot. Next, we have gloomy. They found the forest very thick on this side, and it looked dark and gloomy. So gloomy means dark, sad, unhappy, and that kind of this looks gloomy, like you're not quite sure what's going to be in there. Our final word today is industrious, but it takes time to make a raft, even when on even when one is as industrious and untiring as the Woodman. When night came, the work was not done. I'm sorry again for that mistake. It seems like these videos wouldn't be themselves if it didn't have one little spelling error. So the Tin Woodman is very industrious, which means he's very hardworking. So I found this picture of a guy who was working almost mining for gold or or rocks, and so he's working really hard. And that's what the Tin Woodsman was trying to make this raft. So that is the end of chapter 7. We'll be back with chapter 8 tomorrow.